Hey guys, so I'm going to show you in this video how to pull and build a massive list of local businesses anywhere around the world for really, really low cost within Clay. And yeah, it's just going to be super simple to follow. You'll be able to get the template below. All you need to do is quite literally add in the locations, and I'll give you a sample bit of data, and then I'll show you also as well how you can do this yourself and implement this. I'm going to walk you through step by step. But yeah, this is by far the cheapest way and easiest way that I found to scrape local businesses at a massive scale. So you could get thousands and thousands and thousands of results here without having to pay like crazy amounts of money. The only tools that you're going to need are number one, Clay, and number two, serper.dev, right? So serper.dev allows you to do Google searches online from Clay using the API key. Now, Clay has its own integration with Google Search. However, to run that is 1 credit per search. So if you wanted to build a list of say 50,000, that would cost you 50,000 credits, which would be $800. But if you use Serper, you can get 50,000 credits for $50. So way cheaper. So I'm going to show you step by step basically how this would work. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to import a list of locations. And again, I'm going to give you the sample data below as well so you can test this out. But it's very simple if you wanted to do this. You just go into ChatGPT and you just write in, put a table, a downloadable CSV of, locations in London or areas in London or whatever you want to call it, right? You don't need the postcode. I've just put this in as extra, but really you just need the name of the location, right? What's going to happen next is we're going to do a Google search string query. So we're basically taking, I've put restaurants here, but you can change this for cafes, bars, pest control, carpenters, plumbers, you name it, anything that would come up on Google Places, Google Maps. Right. And then it's just mapping in the full thing. So you can see, for example, here the search string is restaurants in Whitechapel, restaurants in Shoreditch, restaurants in Abbeywood, whatever it is. Right. Then what we're doing here is we're using now Serper. I'm going to be careful not to reveal my API key. So this is all plug and play. All you need to do is just in the section below, you need to go over to Serper, get your API key, and then you need to copy paste it in. It's really as simple as that. That's all you need to do. Everything else is done for you. It's just basically mapping in the Google search string, which is this. So then it's running a Google search for restaurants in Whitechapel, restaurants in Stepney, and so on and so forth. And it's doing that, right? So let's just run a couple of these and just see what it comes back with. Cool. It should be fine now. So let's just run a few of these and see what it comes up with. So if it's a success, you'll see 200 here. If you click into it, you'll be able to see the data that you can get. Now you get only a maximum of 10 results per query, per page. So if I do the drop down here, you can see here's a restaurant. If I was to do the search myself and I was to go into here, right, and then I pulled up like places, Google Places, Maps. Here we go. Yeah, so this is then going to pull these results basically, right? So it's going to do the first page, which is 10 results, and you get the restaurant name, the address, the website, category, all this kind of stuff, rating, the phone number if you want to call them, and you get result number 2 and so on and so forth, right? So we can only do 10 per page, which is why we're doing here. We've got a total of 10 pages. Right now, you can add more if you really want to. It's very simple. All you got to do is quite literally come in here, you go duplicate, and then you would just probably name it obviously to like page 11. And then I'm going to just pause it so I don't remove my API key. Yeah, and then you would see here, you see it says page. You would then just change this to 11, for example, and then it would scrape page 11, right? So that's what it's doing for each one of these. I'm just going to delete this for this video here. But yeah, so page 10 is doing a search on page 10. And page 9 is doing a search on page 9, and so on and so forth, right? It's very simple. And you get 10, and then what we need to do now, because the data is all in individual rows, we need to push it to another table, which is the table that we have here below. So Google Maps output, you'll see here. So there's two tables. So we would just click play on here. Now, if you wanted to do this completely automatically, I've just set it as do not auto update. To set it as auto update, you would just come over into the table, you'd click edit column, and then you would just make sure that run settings is auto update is on. And you would do the same for here as well. If you wanted to quite literally upload the data and everything run, that's how you would do it. So you can see here now we've got 10 results, and you can see here, yeah, the first 10 results. Now, if I was to run this for the second one, and I was to run page 2, and I was to then run this table here, you would now start to see what, like 30 results, right? You can see here, they're all pulling in. So now we've got the Google Maps URL, we've got the address, we've got the website from Google. Obviously some don't have a website, but it is what it is. It's what the data that you can get on Google. And then the business type, you've got the number if you want to call them, rating, so on and so forth. Now what we're doing here is we are using AI. So this is now we've got the data, right? And obviously this is just some sample data in a small amount. But if you were to run all of this, right, we've got 516 rows, right? 516 times by 10 times by 10 again. So we'd have, we would have, for this bit of data, if everything runs smoothly, we would have basically 51,000 businesses. So you probably just need a little bit more than 50,000 credits for SERPA, but yeah, I mean, that's like incredibly cheap. For less than $100, you're basically able to pull, I mean, for literally $55, you're able to pull 100,000, over 50,000 local businesses. So yeah, we just run the whole rest of the table. It's very simple to do. Just like I said, just enable auto update if you do want to just run it automatically. So once we're here, the next step that we want to do is, this is find email from websites. So we've got the list of data now. Want to find the contact details. Going to go to edit column. You can obviously add your API key here. Now, I've got a prompt in, but basically it's just saying visit the URL, output an email address that you find. So it's pretty simple. You just need to connect your API key. So you can say required auth account is missing. So when you would set this up yourself, it'll probably have the same message. You just quite literally would need to connect your API key or just make sure you click save and it should be able to fix it. Next, what we do is we validate using Enrichly for catch-all, just because with local businesses, usually it just allows us to find a little bit more. Deliverability is usually quite easy and good with local businesses because a lot of them use Google. So we're finding email on the website with AI. If we can't find it with AI and we can't validate it, then we'll try and find with Prospio. We try and find a bunch of professional email addresses associated with that business. Then we validate those, and then we validate a second email because sometimes this will pull out like several email addresses. Then if we can't still find that, then we try and do like a generic finder, and then that's basically full all the steps. We have 3 different types of email finding methods and verifying it with Enrichly. We then get the final valid emails. There are a couple of steps here that allow you to do some personalization. So for example, we've got the full address here, right? Obviously it would be weird if you use that in an email saying, hi, I noticed you're based in this whole address. That would be weird. So we've got a AI prompt to basically be able to simplify that really, really easily. Just follow this and it will just simplify the address and output like a location that then you can use in the copy. So, hey, I noticed you're based in Shoreditch, and so on. Same with the restaurant name. I put restaurant normalization because this was built initially for restaurants, but this can be for any local businesses. It just normalizes the name of the business. So you can use it. So it's not like something coming up weird, for example, I don't know, there might be like this one here is like all caps, or I don't know, just some restaurants sometimes will be written weirdly and they'll be formatted not correctly. So that will normalize that. We also have the business type normalization. So you can basically say what type of business that they are in the email again. So, doner kebab restaurant, Turkish restaurant, et cetera, et cetera. Here this is also quite interesting here where we, basically what we're doing is we're pulling a website summary. So we're scraping their website using Clagent to pull a summary of like what they do. Once we've pulled a summary of what we do, we basically use AI generated ideas. I'm just gonna have to actually change this a little bit. We use AI generated ideas, which is basically, so what you'll need to do from your side is, edit this, but essentially put in context of what your company does. And then here we have essentially like it'll output 3 bullet points that you can then use when reaching out to these companies based on what their company does and what your company does. And you could say, hey, we could help you with bullet point 1, bullet point 2, bullet point 3, and each one is completely customized to the business that you're reaching out to based on data you've scraped from them. So all you need to do here is just add in the system prompt, basically, which is just information around context around what your business does. Once you got that, then we add the lead to the campaign, and we've got in an extra step here that basically, if we can't find their email address, then we pull their mobile number or their number that they have into a CSV, so your team can call them as well. So this is the whole workflow. I'm just going to make one tiny edit to this, but really simple to do. I'm going to share as well the list of locations. And once you've got that, then feel free to literally upload them, plug and play, go for it. Change the search string is the only other thing that you might need to do. So restaurants in, just change that. It doesn't have to be restaurants, it could be any other type of business. And then just add in your API key for Stirper. And then after that, you should be able to quite literally, if you've got a list of 1,000 locations, you'll be able to find 100,000 businesses. If you've got a list of 5,000, you'll be able to find 500,000 businesses, right? Like, it's very, very, very efficient in that sense, and super, super cheap in comparison to anything else that I found. So yeah, I hope that helps, and feel free to grab it in the description. It's completely for free. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.